The hard-working bee was loved very much by all his friends. He would set off to work every day, even before the sun rose. He would visit every beautiful-smelling flower in the fields, one by one. The little bee seemed to know no weariness. He was sometimes even late to the hive. His mother would worry about this. "Work a little less," his friends would tell him. The hard-working bee would not listen to his friends. He would always make a face at them. "God created us to work hard. If we don't work, who will work in our place?" he would answer. One day, the hard-working bee set out from the hive early again. He was flying towards a distant field. He was collecting the materials he needed to make honey from the flowers he saw along the way. Suddenly, he spotted a very beautiful rose among the bushes. It was so gorgeous that he was astonished. "Oh dear, I've been passing through here for a long time, but this is the first time I've seen such a beautiful rose," he thought. He immediately folded his wings and began his descent. He glided down like an airplane and landed right on the top of the flower's head. He deeply inhaled its scent. "Oh, the smell is as beautiful as the flower itself," he murmured. "God has created such lovely roses in the world." He immediately began sipping the nectar. "Who knows how happy Mother will be when this unique substance reaches the hive? My friends will surely burst with jealousy," he thought to himself. While thinking these thoughts and enjoying himself, he kept on sipping. Suddenly, he heard the sweet sound of a song right beside him. He pricked up his ears. The sound was so lovely that it made him want to drop everything and just listen. The hard-working bee immediately fought off that feeling. "I came out to work. If I don't manage my job, what will become of my share in the hive? My friends will always tease me. They'll call me incompetent," he thought. He immediately decided not to listen to the sweet song. He focused on his task. Soon after, the song abruptly stopped. A deep silence fell over the surroundings. But this did not last long. A new sound wave reached the hard-working bee's ear. "Easy work, brother bee," the hard-working bee answered without lifting his head from his work. "Thank you. Did you like my singing?" "Which singing?" "The song I was singing just now. It was beautiful, wasn't it, brother?" "Yes, it was beautiful. Was that you singing?" The owner of the voice answered proudly. "Of course. There is no other creature with such a sweet voice besides me. They call me the grasshopper. I sing songs all summer long without stopping with my sweet voice." The little hard-working bee paused his work for a moment. He wanted to teach this foolish creature a lesson. "Get a hold of yourself, friend," he said. "First of all, that voice was given to you by God. You have no right to boast, saying, 'I have a beautiful voice.'" The grasshopper looked at the little bee with astonishment. "You must be very religious. What did you think? Was I supposed to be ungrateful, instead of being thankful for the blessings God gave me?" The grasshopper let out a burst of laughter as if something ridiculous had been said. "Work, work, work. Is there no rest for you in this world? God loves those who work." The grasshopper sneered at this answer. "I laugh at your thoughts. I don't work, but I cheer everyone up with my beautiful voice. Why wouldn't God love me?" The bee looked on in amazement. "Is there no other job you do besides chirping?" "No." "Well, what do you eat in the winter?" "Oh, ho! Winter is still far away. God will provide until then. Do you think I'm a fool like you, spending such beautiful summer days working? It's nonsense when I could be sitting and singing. Besides, you work for human beings. That is foolishness. After all that working and toiling, they take the honey you make." The hard-working bee began to feel sorry for this poor, senseless creature, rather than getting angry. If we work, we benefit both people and ourselves. We have a clean and warm hive where we can take shelter in the winter. The whole family spends the winter there comfortably. And who benefits from your songs and tunes? Whose stomach do they fill? The grasshopper still didn't care. He mocked. The little bee finally got very angry. "Go away, please," he shouted. "Don't bother me. I've already wasted enough time." The grasshopper laughed again. "Won't you ever tire of your foolishness? Working on such beautiful days, what kind of sense is that?" he said, belittling the hard-working bee once more. He flew away, flapping his wings arrogantly. He landed on a high branch and continued his songs. "Winter will come, and you'll see your day then," the hard-working bee muttered. He returned to his work. He ignored the grasshopper's songs. 6 months passed. The cold was raging everywhere. The falling snow blanketed the world like a white shroud. In the warm hive, the bees were chatting cheerfully. The little hard-working bee was also among them. He was telling his friends and mother about the things that happened to him one summer day. "I wonder what that lazy king called the grasshopper is doing now. I'd really like to know," he finished his words. Suddenly, a faint voice was heard from outside the hive. All the bees pricked up their ears to this trembling, thin voice. The mother bee asked in a strong voice, "Who is there?" "It's me. I'm a grasshopper. My home is covered with snow. Please, will you take me in and warm me up? I'm freezing." The hard-working bee recognized the voice. It was the grasshopper he had talked to in the summer. He begged his mother, "Mother, please let him come in. This is the lazy creature I told you about." His mother stroked the hard-working bee's wings. "Well done, my dear," she said. "I'm pleased that you are helpful. Let's take the poor fellow in and save him from death." Soon after, the grasshopper was brought inside, soaking wet and sticky all over. The poor, lazy bug was shivering all over. They immediately took him in among them and warmed him with their breath. When he came to his senses a little, he said, "I'm dying of hunger." The helpful bees fed this uninvited guest until he was full. The hard-working bee, seeing that his guest had fully recovered, went up to him and said, "So, what's new, Brother Grasshopper?" he asked. "You said that working was foolishness all summer. Look who the fool was now." The grasshopper felt so ashamed and embarrassed that it was impossible to describe. He hung his head. He buried his head in his hands, and in a barely audible voice he said, "You were right, Brother Bee," he said. "You were indeed very right. The hard worker wins, and the one who doesn't work is deceived. I learned this too late." And that winter, the grasshopper learned his lesson from the hard-working bee. Now, when summer came, he both sang and prepared for winter, because he knew very well, the hard worker wins. And that is the end of our story, dear friends. We learned from this tale that hard work benefits not just others, but ourselves most of all. Even though the hard-working bee was tired throughout the summer, he was comfortable in his warm hive when winter came. The lazy grasshopper, on the other hand, regretted greatly during the hard times, even though he enjoyed all the fun of the summer. Remember, God commanded us to be hardworking because we must make an effort to gain good things in our lives. But do you know the best part? The hardworking bee also knew how to be helpful to his friend who was in a difficult situation. So, we should be both hardworking, and our hearts should always be full of love and goodness, shouldn't they? Until we meet again in our next adventure-filled tale, if you like this story, don't forget to land a big B on the like button below this video. By subscribing to our channel, you will be notified immediately when we upload a new tale, and you won't miss any fun stories. Take very good care of yourselves. Dream big. Goodbye.